Welcome back to Movies TV Man. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Monday's edition of the MUFC Daily. Manchester United, it's bored, and most of its fans are drunk on emotion. Yesterday we found out, it was confirmed that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has left Manchester United under mutual consent. Basically, I'll translate that for you. He was sacked, but they did it nicely. Anyway, so I joked afterwards and said, wouldn't it be funny if they give Ollie an open bus parade? I was joking, of course, because this is how everyone seems to be, treating this person as an ex-legend. That's so amazing and so brilliant. I'm surprised he was even sacked. But if you look at the form and the way he managed, then you understand why he was sacked. So it was very shocking to me and surprising going through my Twitter feed and finding the club did an official exit interview with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before he left. Now, of course, these questions were scripted, but it was framed in a very manipulative way. Like he's this nice manager who hasn't got anything bad to say about everyone. He said he wanted to leave out the front door, not the back door. And basically, the interview was really being framed as this is a successful manager that just couldn't take the club any further. It's clever, right? Nah, not really, because if you're smart, and I know not all of us, not going to say many of us, but not all of us are smart Manchester United fans, but for those ones who are smart, they understand what's going on here. It's a spinning of the narrative. They want to control the narrative of getting rid of this manager. They want to frame it that remember all the good things he did. And we keep on being told the squad that he's left. But let's be honest here. And I've said this many times before on my channel. You or me could be manager of Manchester United and go, right, I want Varane, I want Ronaldo, and I want Sancho. It's not that much of a gift. Oh, I want Bruno Fernandes. Oh, you're a genius, Mick. No, I'm not. I've seen him. He's awesome. Great character, great personality, great ability. He'll be great for our team and our club. And Bruno has proved to be, although this season he hasn't been great. But again, footballers, as I keep on saying, are like soldiers. They follow orders. And when you follow bad orders as a soldier, then friendly fire happens. And so I was shocked by this interview. I have never seen a manager be sacked anywhere and do an interview like this before. As I say, it's a spinning of the narrative. It's a spinning to try and make him look good. They like him. Listen, from the outside looking in, you could say, Mick, you're being negative here. Actually, the club have done a good thing here. They've sacked him. They've parted ways, via mutual consent. He's done kind of this interview. It's a positive thing. He's thanked the fans. He said the fans have always been supportive towards me. Well, we haven't, Ollie. And I'll be absolutely clear here so no one misunderstands me. I've always loved Ollie as a character. He seems like a lovely guy. As a player, he did anyway. But nobody's perfect. Nobody's just a nice person. We're flawed individuals with nuances. And Ollie has shown this during his time as manager of Manchester United. He's made mistakes. And there's no question about that. He was never even a manager. He was a figurehead, but he's a bad figurehead. He never, admittedly, he's even said it, that he and his assistant never coached the team. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't a coach. He's a figurehead. But why would you get someone like Ollie to be a figurehead when there's better figureheads out there anyway? So none of it makes sense. His original appointment doesn't make sense. It was ridiculous from the very, very beginning. But this interview was fascinating to me. And seeing my fellow Manchester United fans' reaction on social media to this was hilarious. Oh, Ollie, I'm trying not to cry, blah, blah. Oh, I love you, Ollie. You're amazing. Thank you, Ollie. What are you thanking him for? Playing counter-attacking shit football. Leaving his best players on the bench while playing his favourites who are not the best players. I'm not saying they're bad players, but basically Ollie's kind of got it the wrong way round. The players he was playing mostly should be on the bench, and the ones on the bench should have been first teamers. Totally imbecilic decisions made by Ollie. And people say, oh, well, we can't just judge him on the past couple of months. We're not. He's been a bad manager from day one. He came in as a caretaker, played great football, and then he kind of backpedaled into being a defensive, negative, counter-attacking football manager. That's what he did. And he was getting away with it for a time because we were winning games. But I noticed what was going on. The football was shit as soon as he became permanent, just before he became permanent. And he was getting a lot of results away from home. So while he was on this great record-breaking away run, we were ignoring the fact that we'd only win the odd Old Trafford game because his counter-attacking football didn't work at home. Now, he would disperse this apparent myth last season by saying, well, there's no fans here. What difference does it make? Well, it is. There does make a difference because the players are used to playing there. It's their ground. It's their comfort. It's their comfort pitch. Of course, it makes a difference. And it makes a difference in terms of if there's fans there or not. Because the opposition wants to play counter-attacking defensive football. If you're doing it as well, you nullify each other. So we've got a lot of draws, the odd defeats there. It wasn't, he didn't have a very good record at Old Trafford. If you look at his stats at Old Trafford, they're absolutely terrible. Most of the good results came from away from home. So that's the kind of manager he was. So that interview to me was absolutely staggering. The spinning of a narrative that he's a good manager who's done a good job and it's time for him to move on. And he said something hilarious. He goes, twice when I left Mulder, they won the league. That's a good omen, he said, for Manchester United. So basically you're so shit, so when you leave, a better manager came in and actually won the league. Yeah, it's funny because he doesn't realise what he's saying. Is this man this naive? Is he as naive as he looks? He could be. He could be. It kind of shows you why he's kind of got loyalties to the wrong players. He's a bad judge of character, and one thing you can't be as a manager is a bad judge of a footballer. And he really is. He believed and believes that Harry Maguire, as I've said before, is this Tony Adams kind of Roy Keane figure. And he's not. He's a terrible captain. He should never have been made captain. I never agreed with him being made captain. I thought it was such a dumb decision. And I'm still seeing these top Reds calling us, honest Manchester United fans, fake fans. There's no such thing as a fake fan. There's one set of fans telling the truth and being direct, while the other set of fans are being dishonest and, enacting this fake morality. So there's no kind of fake fans, but if you're going to label anyone as a fake fan, it's the one who doesn't want to say anything, doesn't want to speak the truth, because that's negative, and we can't do that, can we now? Now, it's my fucking club. I've got umpteen season fucking reviews in there, right? I've got umpteen Manchester United tops from my younger years in there, because I don't buy merch anymore, so I have actually invested into this club, which gives me the fucking right to say what I want to say. No one, no sane person can disagree that this was a bad manager, or should I say, a terrible figurehead. Anyway, they gave him an interview, and they were trying, as I say, to twist the narrative. Look, as I say, I was so surprised they did that interview, and I think now everyone's drunk on the emotion. Nobody's thinking clearly. It doesn't matter. It's like Doc Cotton with Nick Cotton. Oh, he's a good boy, really. I mean, he only murdered Eddie Royal and that old man in the very first episode of EastEnders and took drugs and did this. And, oh, he tried to kill you, Doc, for your house, right? He was poisoning you. But he's a good boy anyway. And that's what we're hearing now. Oh, Ollie, he wasn't so bad, was he? Because Ollie's personality, this is what I said, he was always going to impress us because he did that little boy lost expression, didn't he? Yeah, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And everything was bullshit. He was just a bullshitter. Oh yeah, Van der Beek will get games. Van der Beek's still waiting to get games, not second halves, full games. And Sancho, he'll get games. He will now you're gone, mate. So basically, this guy should never have been a manager, and he can give us those little boy lost looks as much as he wants. I will not remember him as a good or great manager. I will remember him as a fabulous player who did so much for this club, and in that element, I will always think of him with positive vibes. Right, We are now a manager down. Michael Carrick and his coaching team will be leading the team on Tuesday against Villarreal. So God help us. Are these the people who have been picking the team anyway? And I think, as everyone's saying, this is ridiculous. But here's the thing. Because of the mistake they made from employing this accidental manager in the first place and not even sacking him at the end of last season, who do they bring in while they're looking for an interim coach? You know, it's difficult. Now, a lot of people are screaming that they don't want an interim coach, they want a permanent coach now. It's difficult. It is difficult. I suppose if you throw lots and lots of money at the situation, you could convince someone to come in now. But not many coaches want to come in now. Understandably, they want a clean slate at the end of the season. But at the end of the season, God knows where this club will be. So Carrick and his terrible coaching team won't be there for long. So a lot of people are saying, why didn't they stand with Ollie and leave? Why weren't they sacked as well? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if they leave, who's going to coach the team until they find an interim? Do you understand me? It's not possible. So they have to be there until they bring someone in. Now, you know, later today, they may announce an interim. So, you know, that's good. Some people are saying, but even if they bring an interim in or another manager, you know, it's still going to have the same issues. They're still going to be there. Listen, it all depends who they bring in. I mean, we've been told, and it is the press who's telling us. I don't think the club's really said. I think the club has mentioned they're looking for an interim right now, so it's interesting. Now, a report from a paper this morning is saying that Pochettino wants to quit PSG and come and run Manchester United permanently. Now, that's something I would subscribe to because I think that's exactly what Manchester United need right now. And a lot of people don't like Pochettino, but here's the truth. Pochettino has always wanted this job, but the timing has always been wrong. If, before he went to PSG, we should have sacked Ollie and brought him in. That was a mistake. So the club have always wanted him, and he's always wanted to come to the club, but the timing's always been wrong. So apparently he doesn't get on with his technical director. So everyone's saying that, Pochettino is a muppet. He's not. He won't take any shit. That's why he's not the Spurs manager anymore. By the way, he wouldn't take Levi's shit. So what would you get from Maurizio Pochettino? Right, this is a plan manager. This is a manager who's going to come in the way they were saying Ollie was doing, that he wasn't really doing. But he's going to come in, he's going to look at the youth system, he's going to see who's ready and who needs loans. And, if the youth system isn't being worked properly, he will tweak a few things. So we're seeing a lot more players from our youth system. Pretty much what LVG was doing so well. So there's that. He will play really, really good, expansive football. Now, has he ever won a trophy before? He certainly hasn't in England. I don't know what he did in PSG. But anyway, so let's just say he hasn't won a trophy before, right? That's something that will concern me, you, and everyone. But at the end of the day, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't even qualified to manage Manchester United. He'd never won. Well, he'd won. Did he win the league with Mulder? But come on. That's like not winning anything. So, listen, I think Pochettino is a good coach. If you give him 5 years, he could really turn this club around. But at the end of the day, everyone, and I'm talking to myself here. I talk to myself a lot, but I'm talking to myself here. We're going to lose games under this manager. There will be a plan and a structure. But this is a man, this is a proper footballing man. So if he comes in, I'm happy and I'm willing to go with it. But it depends what you want. Whether you want a Pochettino who's going to develop every level of the club, or someone who's going to come in straight away and is a trophy-winning manager. For example, Mourinho was a trophy-winning manager. He won 2 trophies for Manchester United. LVG is a trophy-winning manager. He won an FA Cup in his last game for Manchester United. You can have that, or you can have Pochettino who's going to develop the club. Now, we got the Ajax manager who looks really good. Now, he didn't exactly say he didn't want the job when he was questioned yesterday. Basically, you've just got to follow Fabrizio Romano to see what happens. At this moment in time, it looks like they are also looking for an interim and a permanent manager for next summer. So the interim is for now. Now, an interim manager in the situation we're in is the only option unless we can get a permanent now. Unless Pochettino is willing to come in now, we'll find out what happens. Because obviously the club didn't think that Pochettino was viable because he's at a club. But maybe Pochettino has come out and said, I want this job. I'm going to quit this club and come to you. Then that's brilliant. Because that's consistency straight away. We don't have to worry about kind of this temporary interim manager. Now, this temporary interim manager thing is something that Manchester United have never had to deal with. You know, this is unknown territory, baby brother. So it's a worry. So if you're getting an interim to until the end of the season, and what I would like, now this is not very Manchester United, is if they announce an interim and a permanent manager for next season. I'd like that. So maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe Pochettino will be announced as a new manager for next year. But who do we bring in as an interim? And you know, before I knew, when I did yesterday's video, I thought Fletcher was going to be the kind of temporary guy until they found an interim. But it's Michael Carrick and the whole coaching team pretty much running the show. It's pretty much the people who have been doing things now. So it's going to be interesting if there's even going to be another kind of reaction, or all the players down tools again, just so they go as well. Listen, yeah, players do that. And actually, the players are probably helping us out, but we don't want to be out of the Champions League as well. So, guys, just play well. You know, throw a Premier League game or something, for fuck's sake, just to get rid of these idiots. And so, yeah, I was speaking yesterday about Laurent Blanc. Now, I don't know if he's in work right now. If Laurent Blanc is available temporarily, I think he should come in. He would be perfect. And someone like Laurent Blanc isn't going to take any shit from Carrick and McKenna. He's going to want to do things his own way. So the board and the club have to understand that this DNA bollocks has to stop. And Ollie was all about DNA. He was even going on about it in his final interview. This is, look, I don't mind Manchester United DNA kind of being there, or them having a boot room of assistant coaches, but they've got to be good ones. That's the thing. But when you bring in an independent manager, at the end of the day, you've got to allow him to bring in his coaches. Now, this is the problem at Manchester United. The Glazers and Woodward are saying, and this new director of football, you know, and Fletcher are saying, no, these are our people. So no manager's going to come in. So they're going to have to bend. They're going to say, I don't want these people. You can put them in charge of the reserves, the youth teams, you can do what you want, but they shouldn't be training the team. They can hand out bibs if they want. So you're going to see a very, very different Manchester United going forward. Now, unless they insist on this kind of system, that would be worrying. So if you got another ex-Manchester United manager as interim who ultimately becomes permanent, this will be very worrying. And, you know, there could be so many different names. And they could go for a big former Manchester United player, like Eric Cantona, Roy Keane. That would distract everyone, right? Listen, I wouldn't mind Keane and Cantona coming in. I mean, it'll be entertaining. I mean, they'll relegate us, but they'll crack us up at the same time. But no, I don't want that, really. It would be fucking jokes, right? But the truth of the matter is, we need a good interim, and probably someone like Pochettino, Zidane. Everyone wants Zidane because Zidane's the shiny name. And look, Zidane's a good manager. He proved it at Real Madrid. But he is a Real Madrid player. He feels comfortable in that environment. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to do a good job. But at the end of the day, you would imagine Zidane will be a great fit. Now, another journalist said something that I predicted before Ronaldo came back to Manchester United, that Ronaldo, being the next Manchester United manager, would click all the notes and bells and whistles for the Glazers and Woodward, because he would be the face of Manchester United. It means more money for them. But can he do the job? Well, listen, I'm willing to give the lad the benefit of the doubt. And it would be great, but it is a gamble. And can Manchester United afford that gamble at this moment? I think they're going to do something they don't normally do. I think they're going to move quickly. I think they're going to appoint either an interim or a permanent manager. It looks at the moment it's an interim, unless Pochettino's rung them up straight away and they can do a deal. I think something may happen by the end of today or by tomorrow. I think this is going to happen very quickly because they need consistency. And I'll tell you why they need consistency. because it's about money. So the Glazers have always understood they could still make lots of money for United by finishing in the top four, playing in the Champions League, not winning it. But at the end of the day, the situation with Solskjaer after the Watford defeat was sending us down there and away. And they understood what was going on, so they had to do something. So their next decision is going to be very interesting. Their next decision will show us if they are a bunch of fools that don't know what they're doing, which they pretty much are, or if they've actually got a plan. Is John Murtough, this director of football, a good person? Well, if he is, and he knows what he's doing, he will bring in the right person as an interim and then a permanent. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's easy to blame the Glazers. The Glazers didn't arrive at Manchester United on their own, as I've said many times. Ferguson's fault for their arrival. And Ferguson wanted Ollie to stay. He saved Ollie's job after the Liverpool game. So he wants to look after his little players who used to play under him, so they're more important to him than Manchester United. I love him. What he did was sensational for us. That's undeniable. He made the impossible come true, but he doesn't walk on water. And I don't like that. I don't like the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson was protecting the accidental manager that was doing more harm than good to the team and the future and the transparency of our club. I do not like that. So let's see what happens next. But Manchester United are out of the top four and they're heading down the table rather than up. We are now in unknown territory. This is very, very frightening. The next decision in managerial terms that has to be made is very serious, and they better get it right. This has been the MUFC Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more MUFC Daily. Until then, goodbye.